Hello everybody, welcome back to another video where we will be delving into Binky Drinky and his religion. Today, we're going to be training our brain muscles to analyze rhetoric in order to make interpretive resolutions as to what religion Binky Drinky most aligns with. As you know, Binky Drinky is a Binky Drinky is a mascot in a in Dark Pals. His the top of it has Binky and the bottom half is Drinky. So let's just get right into it. Mascot horror often relies on the perversion of innocence, using corporate mascots to evoke fear through greed or artificial purgatory. However, the character of Binky Drinky in Dark Pals, The First Floor, suggests a narrative depth that transcends simple jump scares. The interpretive challenge, absurdity versus logic. While Binky appears to be an overdesigned joke, his behavior follows a strict internal logic. The theological question, what religion does Binky Drinky actually practice? The goal of analysis, to view Binky as a tragic practitioner of a deeply internal fragmented theology. Reading lore through symbol, ritual, and institution, the three pillars of analysis. Here we have a little bit of a framework for this slideshow and this lesson. We'll be delving into Gnosticism, the dual self, asceticism, the ritual, and institutionalization, the authority. What's our methodology? We're going to treat gameplay actions such as baking cookies or offering a bunk bed as symbolic expressions of a fractured moral order. Binky and Drinky as competing theological forces. The Gnostic nightmare. Binky Drinky is composed of two separate entities sharing one tethered body, mirroring the Gnostic belief that the physical universe is inherently corrupt while the spirit is pure. The entity, Binky and Drinky. So Binky represents the spirit. He's childlike, gentle, protective, and offers safety and expresses remorse. While the body, Drinky, represents the demiurge, a feral, ravenous beast with a toothy maw seeking to consume. The struggle for dominance. Binky lives this theological struggle every second. When he chases the player, his eyes reflect panic and sorrow. He is not a hunter by choice. He is a spirit being overpowered by a corrupt physical shell. His religion is the active attempt to suppress the material world through spiritual dominance. Now let's look at the kitchen as a ritual space. The altar of the asylum. In Chapter 1, the kitchen is transformed from a functional area into a sacred space. Binky's behavior during the kitchen puzzles indicates that he is performing a high-stakes ritual rather than a simple task. Sacred order versus profane chaos. Precision. Binky demands specific ingredients for the perfect cookie. His reaction to failure? If the ritual is defiled, Binky undergoes a terrifying shift. The finger wag. A strict no, signaling a violation of a sacred boundary. For Binky, the kitchen is his altar, and the baking process is the only barrier preventing the feral god from taking control. What Binky Drinky religion means here. Isolation, the physical and social vacuum of the upward children's asylum. Mutation, the biological reality of a dual entity body. Trauma, the psychological scars of abuse and manipulation. The internalized faith. Binky's faith is entirely internal. It is a daily, agonizing ritual to manage the conflict between his gentle spirit and his ravenous physical form. It is a religion where the head acts as a protective priest attempting to appease a feral god residing in the stomach. The upward asylum of a system of commandments. Binky's religion is heavily influenced by the cult of institutional obedience. Security logs reveal that his primary directives were coded as a dogmatic catechism. 1. Submit. relinquish individual agency to the institution, to come to conform, maintain the expected appearance and behavior of a pal. 3. Consume, fulfill the base requirements of the physical body. And 4. Perform, execute the roles assigned by the staff for the benefit of the asylum. The perfect cookie is pacification practice. Binky practices a form of asceticism paired with appeasement. Historically, wrathful deities were pacified through precise food sacrifices. In Binky's theology, the calming milk and perfect cookie serve this exact purpose. So the spiritual head seeks order and sleep, which initiates. Then the sacred cookie ritual threatens, and the feral stomach seeks consumption and chaos as it is pacified. The breaking point. The moment the ritual fails, the protective barrier breaks. The feral god is no longer restrained by the sacred offering, leading to the total consumption of Binky's gentler nature. You can think of the Aztec, the Mexica people, and how they would sacrifice people to appease the gods so as to avoid their wrath. You can also think monotheistically of how people today practice religion and pray to God as a way to prevent themselves from feeling the wrath of God. Comparing the interpretive lenses. So here we have the 3 lenses: Gnostic, ascetic, and institutional. Gnostic focuses on internal conflict, wherein the head is a priest trapped in a demonic vessel. Ascetically, we focus on ritual practice, where the kitchen is an altar for subduing internal wrath. And institutionally, we focus on the external authority, wherein obedience is a survival strategy turned into dogma. While the Gnostic lens compares his physical horror, the institutional lens explains his psychological submission. Together, they reveal a character who is not just a monster, but a victim attempting to find order in a chaotic and abusive existence. A faith of survival, not salvation. The tragedy of Binky Drinky. Binky Drinky's religion offers no hope of salvation or afterlife. It is purely a system for surviving the next hour. His head acts as a protective priest, desperately performing rituals to keep the demon at bay. The final severance, severing the priest, the connection is broken. Total consumption, the feral beast is left to consume. Conclusion, Binky's story is the ultimate tragedy of a faith that could only delay but never prevent the inevitable triumph of chaos. The caretaker as absent authority, the cult of Lauren Z-side. Security tapes reveal that the mascots were severely abused by a caretaker named Lauren. In addition, abusive environment victims in isolated abusive environments, victims often project godlike authority onto their abusers, like Stockholm Syndrome. Deification of the abuser, absolute arbiters. To Binky, Lauren and the staff were the final judges of life, death, and punishment. The sanctuary of bedtime. Binky invites the player to sleep tight because bedtime was the only time these deities would leave them alone. Residual fear. Binky continues to follow their directives, showing that the religion of obedience has outlived the presence of the gods. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you appreciated my Binky Drinky video essay. Please let me know what you thought, and if you learned anything. Have a good night. Binky Drinky. Wait, I didn't end the video. Binky Drinky.